G'day avocado enthusiasts. I started this YouTube channel almost exactly 4 years ago, and it started out with the main goal to grow an avocado tree from seed to the point of bearing fruit, and that is still the main goal of this channel. Over time, I have attempted to document very closely the growth of avocado trees, and a number of times I have failed using the water and toothpick method. 191 days ago, I started another attempt where I started germinating these seeds in plastic bags with paper towel, and I experienced more germination success than I had previously. Then 119 days ago, I placed these avocado seeds in the avocado lagoon, which is populated by a few guppies. It's tropical, so it's nice and warm for them, which they like. There's lots of nutrition in the water from the fish poo, and as you can see, we've had lots of success. 52 days ago, I pruned some of these avocado trees for the first time, and as you can see, they have grown back exceptionally. And today, it fills me with fantastic joy. We have progressed further than any of our other attempts, so we are now, I think, on the right path, because today we get to plant these avocado trees in soil. So I'm going to take them out of the tank now, and we're going to pop them up. Okay, so here I am, I'm outside, so if I make a mess, it's not such a big deal, and because the open air is better for dealing with soil and the things that we put in the soil as well. So let's talk about what we need to do to keep our avocados healthy, because the things that we do at this stage are going to be really important for the health of our avocados long term. If you do something that's not in its best interest here, you're going to have a struggling and even dying avocado tree. So first of all, let's talk about the containers that we are using. I am using a plastic nursery pot. So usually I use black ones. They weren't in stock at the moment, so I've got these clear ones. Shouldn't matter too much. The key here is that it has good draining. So you can see all of those holes there, because avocados need really well draining soil. If they're allowed to sit in water for too long, their roots are going to get root rot. And I've made videos about that in the past. There's some videos in the description for you to enjoy. But you might be thinking, Scott, they have been sitting in water for the last few months in a fish tank. What's different about them sitting in water in a pot? Oxygen is the reason. Oxygen is constantly being replenished in a tank. There's lots of surface area, and the filter keeps the water moving, so oxygen is constantly being added. When water is allowed to stagnate, over time the oxygen evaporates and gets absorbed by things and makes it a great breeding ground for bacteria and fungi which cause root rot. The H2O molecules aren't losing their oxygen, they stay the same, but there is dissolved oxygen within a liquid water which will evaporate and get absorbed by things over time. So we need really well draining containers for this. I would never plant an avocado tree in a pot without good drainage. So my favorite thing to use at the moment is plastic with lots of holes. But if you have terracotta or another kind of material that has drainage holes, you're probably going to be okay. The next key thing which we need to think about is the potting mix. So I mix my own potting mix, and I have made videos about that in the past. I have a couple of adjustments to that, not super key, but I've got a couple. Today I am using 2 parts perlite, 1 part coconut coir. So this is coconut peat, and it's replacing what I used to use, which is peat moss. Peat moss isn't as sustainable as I would like, and coconut coir is just waste from the coconut industry, so I'm preferring to use that. And I'm then using some just regular cheap potting mix. Compost will do the job. I like to use worm compost when it's available to me, but I'm still waiting for my next harvest. I've depleted the ones that I currently have. So the perlite is to ensure that the soil is well draining, and that's why I'm using so much in it. It's not just sprinkled in, I have got half of my mix as perlite. The coconut peat is for moisture retention for some part, and also for raising the acidity a little bit. Avocados like slightly acidic soil, and the rest of the potting mix, the compost, is to provide nutrition. I've also sprinkled in a little bit of slow release fertilizer specific for fruit trees, which these guys are going to enjoy over the next few months. So with that in mind, let's get planting. I'm going to try and do this fairly quickly so that these roots don't dry out. There isn't some water now, but because of the size that they've allowed to get, they're kind of sticking out. So we're going to get onto this fairly soon. So let's get started. So I'm going to take my pot and I'm going to start by putting some of my soil mix in the bottom. That's probably a little too much, just to coat the bottom. Then I'm going to take my tree. So let's start by taking this one that I believe is chill, and I'll double check that later. But as you can see, look at that root system. It has really enjoyed being in the avocado lagoon. So I'm going to just kind of wrap it around, a bit of a coil here because there's no other way to fit it in here without breaking it. We'll sit the seed close to the surface. A lot of people ask me if you need to bury the seed or if it's okay to be above ground. It doesn't matter heaps. Seeds generally are planted underground, but if there's a bit sticking out at the top, it's not a big deal. So as you can see, I've got the roots coiled around there. The seed is jutting out the top slightly, and now I'm ready to fill in the rest of it. You notice as well that these pots are about the same size as the root mass when scrunched together. I don't want to get a really big pot for this because if I plant them in too big a pot, I'm going to have spaces where there are no roots, big spaces without any roots, and that's going to cause water to gather and pool, which can cause the fungi and bacteria that cause root rot to thrive, and I don't want that in my pot. So I am now going to give it a little bit of a shake and a bang, and I can still see that there are a few pockets where I need to backfill a little more, so I'm going to do that. Well, there we have it. It's looking quite leany, so I'm going to be giving this one a little bit of time to establish its roots, to let it anchor itself into the pot, and then I'm going to stake it up. So I'll give it a little bit of time before I do that. I'm going to set it aside, I'm going to do the rest, and then we will give them a good drink of water to settle them in. We can speed this up slightly. I have potted all my trees. Some of them are a little leany, some are a little funky, but over the next few months we'll be able to correct most of that or embrace it and have some funky shaped avocado trees. I now need to water these trees. The first watering I give my trees is a fairly good one because I want the soil to settle and get rid of any big air pockets. I'm watering today with a seaweed solution. This helps to prevent stress. Moving pots and being planted is the most stressful thing a tree will go through, and so if we can minimize that stress, it's really helpful. So I'm going to give them a good water to ensure that it runs out the bottom and then some. And I'm doing this on a table that has holes on it, and it's going to make noises. This does it every time I do this. I got my legs out of the way this time though, and I'll do that for all of them. It's probably not even quite enough water, so I'm going to give them a little more. Thank you so much for watching this video. It's been a joy for me to be able to share this Avocado Diaries series with you. I'm going to be moving these back into where they were around the Avocado Lagoon, and next season we'll look to transition them to being outdoor trees. I've also got 2 trees that I didn't pot up today because they're not ready, so we'll continue to keep an eye on them and these ones into the future. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to Scott Grows an Avocado Tree for more avocado growing videos. I'm also on Instagram at Scott Grows an Avocado Tree. And don't forget, I would really appreciate it if you checked out my new channel, That's Pretty Cool, where I talk about all sorts of things which I find interesting. Thank you once again for watching. It's getting dark, so I'm going to go inside. Take care, and we'll see you next time. Ah! Oh, I fell over. It's on me. Ooh.
Scott grows an avocado tree. Scott grows an avocado tree. Scott grows an avocado tree. Scott grows an avocado tree.